Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl 69. And today is Sunday, August the 10th, approximately 12:45 a.m. I had made another video, but I didn't know if YouTube would pass it or not because I used a couple of strong words that I probably shouldn't have. So I decided to remake it. And hopefully I can cut it a little shorter as well. Um, I was having a conversation with my daughter the other night, about certain things. Not really going to go into details like I was. But it basically comes down to we were talking about societal expectations. And the conversation got me to thinking back to when Daryl and I moved from Oklahoma to Colorado to start a new life. Inside of our hearts, though, we were already a little disheveled, um, from society and societal expectations. We had already kind of mustered up into our minds, um, the thoughts of trying to live off the grid. And so, of course, when you have imaginations, dreams, or thoughts, most of the time when you have said things, you're picturing it in your head a specific way or a certain way or how you might want it to be, right? Well, we moved up there based off of a couple of reasons. Things that were basically promised to us but never came through or never came to fruition. Myself, I, being old school, used to getting a job by getting an application and turning it in person and talking to the manager and hopefully getting hired in a very short period of time, to where everything was, at that point in time in 2012, up in Colorado, everybody was telling you apply online. Go to our website, go down to the career button and put your application online. And if anybody's interested in talking to you further, we'll give you a phone call or an email. And that's just the way it was. It was very difficult. Very difficult. Not the process of looking for a job, but mentally, for me, it was difficult because of the fact that I felt like I was just a number then. I was just a number and a name in the computer, whereas like before, I at least was able to walk through the door and extend myself and my personality and be able to talk to another human being about the expectations of the job and what my experience was, etc., etc. So it was just kind of a little, technology was blowing me away, so to speak. And that was in 2012. But deep inside my heart, I didn't have those desires. So when Daryl and I first went homeless, I did blame society. I blamed society. I blamed the government. I blamed everybody but not take the responsibility myself for the position in life I was in, you know? Because somebody told me, basically, Candy, you chose that life. You chose that life. And I was like, I didn't choose to be homeless. Who in their right mind would choose to be homeless? So it wasn't really like we chose to be homeless, but the universe gave us the opportunity to see what we would do with it. And in the very beginning of it happening and taking place, I was very weak. Internally weak. But by the end of it, I was so internally strong and physically strong too. Don't think that I didn't share my, portion of the weight that was required. It definitely was a dual effort on both Daryl and I's part. He had his jobs, I had my jobs. Some of the jobs were the same. Me and him did some of the same things. And then some of the things he did, I didn't do. And vice versa. Some of the things I did, he didn't do. So, but it all weighed out, it all evened out and we made it work. Probably, I would say by the time we made it to San Antonio, that's when I really started accepting the fact that that is where we wanted to be internally. We wanted to be free from societal expectations. We wanted to be free from having to pay taxes. We wanted to be able to go and see the world, you know? It was like we were just ultimately searching for something that, I don't know, we never really truly found what we were searching for, but we did at the end. But I think we were ultimately searching for a lot more than what we got. But I am grateful for those moments and those years because they taught me a lot. And in a way, I can say, I guess, in a small way, I am grateful I was homeless. I am grateful that I was given the opportunity to live life like that for a while. And for me to be able to sit here now and look back on those years and look back on all those experiences and be like, wow, you came so far. You did all those things. You did all those things, Candy. You did those things. You hitchhiked. You held up a sign asking strangers for help. Um, you slept in some very unusual spots and some very unusual spaces. You were always taken care of. You always had what you needed when you needed it. And I just am grateful, I guess, for all those experiences because they did kind of help mold me into who I am now. Um, but I do know one thing. You do get what you want in your heart. And the universe will give you what you need to learn what you need to learn. You know. And I guess that's about it, really. Um, all that I really wanted to share was about the whole heart and the mind thing. Now, because that's how I see it, you know. Daryl and I ultimately did get what we wanted, even though we were physically exuding our energy to hold on to something that we didn't truly want. I guess is what it comes down to. Now, in my heart, do I want to be working for somebody else? Well, ultimately, no, not really. But there are some opportunities out there that I'm going to try to pursue. That where I can at least put myself in a little bit better financial bracket, you know? And with a company that is pretty reputable with giving opportunities from within before they seek opportunities from the outside. Um, there are some other things that I am still working on as well. I'm just trying to better myself financially. I'm trying to physically better myself, mentally better myself. Um, ultimately, just trying to live my life based off of how I feel. Um, I can't say things are changing. Not that it's probably noticeable to anybody else other than to me, though. I see the changes that I'm making. And it's like it's not, mm, what's the word I'm trying to find? It's not really something that I really put a lot of forethought into, you know, as far as I just say, okay, this is how it's going to be. I'm making these changes and this is what I'm going to do and all that. No, it's like natural. Um, like my consumption of certain things that I used to desire, I no longer desire, I guess, is a good word, good way for me to describe it. And those are the changes that I see that maybe nobody else sees, you know? But, like, I just don't desire certain foods anymore. Um, I don't desire certain activities anymore. There's just certain things in my life that I don't desire anymore that I guess are coming on because of the fact that I thought about them for a while, you know, like I wonder what my life would be like if I ate less of this or if I could give up this or and the desire for those things aren't there anymore, so I guess that's a good thing. Um I was telling myself today that if it ultimately came down to it and all I could afford to eat would be meat, butter, and eggs, that's exactly what I would do. if it ultimately came down to it. Meat, butter, and eggs. That's all I would need to survive. And as I look at my refrigerator and I think about when I need to go to the store here in the next few days, ultimately, there's not a lot of things I want to put in there other than just stock up on meat, butter, and eggs, and maybe some fruits. That's where I get a lot of my natural sugar, or my sugar now, because my consumption of sugar seems to be lessening more and more because I don't really have a desire to drink coffee like I used to. I definitely don't have a desire to drink sweet drinks anymore. I'm just drinking water, on occasional coffee. Um, the other day I talked myself out of going and getting Dutch Brothers. I don't even know why I'm telling you all these things, because it doesn't really matter when it comes down to it. But I would say that my desire for certain things is lessening more and more each day. Even my nicotine. Ultimately, I need to just toss these away. I mean, it would probably be difficult, but not really. Um, because my job now, I used to vape up at the front register and throughout the whole store. But they started cracking down on it, and they fired a girl for vaping, and they watch the cameras now. So ultimately, I can't afford to be fired. Um, so if I do have a desire to try to take a puff off my nicotine vape, well, I'm right there in the front. I just depends on how busy we are. If we're really busy, no. But if it's like really slow and we're both standing around and there's only a couple people in the store, then I can run outside real quick, take a couple puffs, and then come back in. So that's basically trained me to not rely 100% on my nicotine vapes as much as I was. The only time I really vape that much is when I'm sitting here after getting home from work or on my days off. But in the morning times, yeah. The only time I really don't vape that much during the day is when I'm at work. But that will help me, I think, if I can just make it through the times that I do, which would be while I'm sitting here alone, then I can beat it, you know? Anyway, peace, love, hugs, snugs. I hope everybody's well wherever you are in this realm. Whatever time of day or night it might be. Peace, love, hugs, nugs. And until the next time, I'm out.